Finding a home can feel overwhelming and bring a lot of stress. I've seen buyers struggle to find a good home and become so tired of looking and not knowing that they just throw up their hands in the air and give up. But don't worry, you don't have to settle, and you can find a perfect home with a little help and some diligence. Now let's talk about the homes that you should never buy, whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned homeowner looking for your next place to live. I'm going to talk through some of the pitfalls you need to avoid in Greenville, South Carolina and the surrounding areas. Well, let me know in the comments if you've had to deal with any of these issues or if you've come across other ones that I missed and you consider to be a big deal. First up on my list, and everyone knows this from TV and movies, is location, location, location. Watch out for homes with undesirable locations. A big one is homes on the outside of neighborhoods that back up to major roads. This can transform your backyard oasis into a noisy den of hustling, bustling city center. Not only can your property backing up to a major road be a source of potential annoyance for you, it can also affect your resale value. When it comes time to sell, the owner of a home on a major road is going to get one repeating feedback from all potential buyers. We love the home, but it's too noisy because there's too much traffic. Now let's get going back to these homes to avoid. And next up, let's talk about homes that are being flipped. If you see a home that is clearly on the market right after renovations, then you need to be on alert for the quality of work that was done. Flipping homes is vital to the market. Taking old, battered homes and making them new again can give people a place to live, grow, and enjoy. Problem can come in that flipping homes depends on completing renovations as quickly as possible to maximize profits. This can lead to subpar workmanship, poorly executed repairs, low quality materials, and the lipstick on a pig mentality of some flips. In poorly run renovations, you can see that the baseboards don't quite meet the floors, or that the paint is so poorly done you can see brush strokes and smudges in the paint on the walls. When only surface work is done, many times no permits are required, and the work is done by unlicensed contractors with no checkups after their work. Unlike new homes that come with warranties, a flip is often sold just like any other previously owned home, and no work will be done after close. This makes it imperative to be aware of potential issues prior to going under contract and have a home inspector to find things that need to be addressed before you go through with the purchase. Now, all this isn't to say that there aren't some great renovated homes for sale, because there are. Just know that you must pull back the layers of the onion and see what's going on inside to ensure a solid purchase. In South Carolina, you'll have the due diligence period to do your inspections and make a decision if you will move forward, assuming you negotiated that into your contract. I have always advised everyone to have an inspection, even during the peak craziness of the market a couple years ago. You can waive repairs, you can restrict your repair requests to major items, but you really need to have an inspection to make sure that you can back away from a home that has issues you decide you don't want to tackle. This could range from a new roof or HVAC unit, as I mentioned, but could include more hidden items. There could be a foundation issue lurking under the home or some damage done behind the scene. I've seen issues like hidden fire damage in the attic where trusses had significant portions burned, but the remodel covered everything up so that all the damage that was done elsewhere didn't show. If there's damage done to structural parts of the home, like the roof trusses, or a wall being removed when it's needed for support, you'll want to have a structural engineer do an inspection and identify what needs to be done to the house to overcome the damage that was done. In many cases, you do not want to buy these homes. Now let's move on to another type of Greenville home not to buy, and that is one with solar panels. Solar panels can be a big plus for a homeowner by lowering future power bills, but they can also come with a myriad of potential issues. Starting at the top, so to speak, is the roof itself. When most solar panels are installed, they are roof mounted. When the time comes to replace the roof, this will add significant cost. Most roofers do not want to be responsible for removing panels, and a homeowner will have to call the solar company to remove the panels. In addition, after the new roof is complete, the solar panels will need to be reinstalled. Both of these will be an extra charge to the homeowner. The other issue with solar is sometimes they are owned outright by the homeowner. Sometimes there is a loan that is still owed, and the third possibility can be that they are leased. If they are owned, they can transfer to the buyer without issue, and assuming they are in good shape and have lots of life both left on the panels and the roof, this could be a real positive for a buyer. Their other two options can get a bit tricky. If a loan is outstanding on the solar system, then you need to know if the seller plans to pay off the loan at close or wants the buyer to assume the loan. Paying Paying the loan off at closing means you'll be getting the panels without issue, just as if they were paid off prior to close. If the seller wants you to assume the loan, then that has to be taken into account by the purchaser and how much they are willing to pay for the home now, but it will also affect a mortgage if you're buying with a loan. This new debt must be calculated into the buyer's current financial situation and could affect their ability to buy. I have seen this ruin an otherwise happy purchase. The worst possible option is the panels are leased. In this case, not only does the buyer have to assume another debt, but the panels will have a shelf life and be removed from the home at the end of the lease. If you are a current homeowner, I would never advise leasing solar panels. If you're looking for a home to buy, just know that there are many questions to get answered so that you can make an informed decision if the home has solar panels. If you want more information on solar, please check out my solar panel video with an awesome guest, my friend Daryl Stewart. Let's talk about another home not to buy, and that's homes with water damage. When you're looking at a home, be on the lookout for signs of water damage. They can be spots on the ceiling, underneath the sinks, swelling in the floor, or dampness in the basement. Signs of water damage can point to major issues. You could have current or past leaks that have damaged the structure of the home or allowed mold to get a foothold in the property. If you find water in the home, be sure to have a thorough inspection, and you will likely want to have a mold inspection to see if there are hidden issues. This can lead to expensive remediation if you buy without knowing what you're getting into and find out that you're left cleaning out a mold problem. Another home not to buy is one with a sagging roof line. This can point to structural roof issues, meaning that the trusses that should be supporting the roof were not strong enough when built or have suffered damage and can no longer hold the weight of the roof. There are many things that could contribute to this, and an inspection will give you more details, but you may want to avoid a potential issue altogether and keep looking for another house. Now, I'm going to hit a tricky one here, and some homes you may not want to buy are homes in an HOA. I have heard horror stories of HOAs, and I will admit that most of them are not local to me. However, some are. Homes in an HOA will fall under the covenants and restrictions of that neighborhood, and these can be very loose or very strict. You need to know what you're getting into before you buy. Homes in a historic district can have even more regulation, leaving you unable to make changes that would seem to be in everybody's best interest. I know somebody that bought one of these and was denied the ability to make significant improvements to their own home based on the fact that it was not fitting the aesthetic of the neighborhood. This was all while the home next door was crumbling down, but hadn't been updated, so it was a-okay for that neighborhood. This isn't to say that an HOA or a historic neighborhood can't be a positive. It will keep your neighbor from leaving broken down cars in your front yard or building a dog kennel next door that could keep you awake all night. If you're considering an HOA, just be sure to do your research and make sure that anything you may want to do to your property in the future will be allowed. My last home not to buy for today is a home with termites. The Greenville area has great weather, and that means great weather for termites as well. If you've never seen one, they're like a small white ant, but they're very shy and they don't walk around above ground in the open. Most loans require a CO100, or commonly called a termite inspection, but those also check for all wood-destroying organisms and moisture levels in the home as well. If the home has active termites, I would not make a move forward without the seller having them treated and the damage repaired. Until you know what's under the hood, so to speak, you won't know the extent of the damage. It could be a simple fix or extensive work needing to be done if the termites were allowed to feast for years. Termites aren't too hard to stop, but until you know what you're dealing with, don't buy a home with active termites. So those are some of the homes that you should not buy in Greenville, South Carolina. Let us know in the comments below if there are other homes that you wouldn't buy. I'm sure I probably missed your number one category. If you let us know, that'll help anyone else who's considering purchasing a home know what to avoid. And remember, whether you're moving in 9 or 90 days, I'd love to hear from you and see how we can make your move a smooth one. Until then, I'm David Crum, and I'll see you around beautiful Greenville, South Carolina.